Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Tip Unraveled. If you're new here, then welcome. I'm Tiff. We made it. Exhale. It's Friday. I'm so proud of you. Guys, listen. I know everybody's talking about this one right now, and I had to. So just go ahead and go. I'll give you a second. Go grab your coffee, grab your water, grab your wine, whatever it is. You need to get through this with me because the case that I'm going to talk about today is not, I don't know, it's a lot. It's frustrating. It's very chilling to me. And honestly, it's just, I don't know. It's bizarre. It's really bizarre. So we're talking today about the disappearance of 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard. You guys have heard of her, right? Of course you have. And you might have seen all of the headlines, back in like October of 2025, mother arrested and concrete dug up. But the headlines just don't even scratch the surface of this case. It's not just a missing child case. It's a story about a mother who, in my opinion, kind of treats life like a spy movie, wearing wigs and stealing license plates and secret recordings. I don't know. It's just so weird. And if you think you know where it's going, you don't, unless you do, because a lot of you probably do. But literally, I think just yesterday, November 20th, it was just a big bombshell that dropped in the Santa Barbara courtroom that completely changed the entire landscape of this investigation. Yeah. Just take a deep breath. We're going to go back to the very beginning. We're going to walk through the timeline and the really all the craziness and the lies. So if you're ready, let's unravel. So here's the thing. In order to, I think, understand what happened to Melodee, we kind of have to understand her world. And her world just seemed to appear to be very tiny. It was like suffocatingly small, in my opinion. Melodee was 9 years old. She had brown, curly hair, brown eyes. She was about 4'6". But for the last few years, it seemed like Melodee was pretty much just a ghost. She was a ghost. Her father's name was Rubiel Meza, and very tragically, he died in a motorcycle accident in Santa Maria back in August of 2016 when Melodee was literally a baby, like an infant. And so that left Melodee's mother, Ashley Buzzard, with like total control, right? And Ashley, well, she closed ranks. I tried to dig as much as I could into the family history. It's kind of heartbreaking. Melodee's paternal grandmother, her name was Lily, and then her aunt, also paternal aunt, Elizabeth. They had been fighting to see this little girl for years, years. Lily had said publicly that Ashley, quote, cut her off from the entire world, unquote. There was even a time some years ago when Ashley was institutionalized for mental health issues, and Lily actually had gained custody or guardianship over Melodee. And she was actually trying to adopt Melodee, to keep her safe. But in 2021, Ashley got out. She regained custody or guardianship and essentially just kind of slammed the door shut. Since 2021, Melodee hasn't really been seen by any of the people that love her. So here's where it gets tricky. When this news first broke, there was a panic that Melodee hadn't been seen for a year. But now we do know that that was not entirely true. We did find school records from Mission Valley Independent Study School in Lampock. Is it Lampock or Lampoke? Lampock? In August 2025, right? So this is just months before Melodee actually vanished. Ashley was seen taking Melodee into that school to register her. But, and this is a huge but, okay, because it looks like that whole thing, that whole registration was just for show, really. Ashley never filed the mandatory affidavits for homeschooling. Melodee never picked up any assignments. It was kind of a ghost enrollments, just enough to like keep truancy officers away until it wasn't. So if we start to move into like the timeline, right? The official timeline, this is kind of where all of the weird, like mission oriented behaviors starts. October 7th, okay, 2025, this year. God, Lompoc. I don't know how to say this, guys. Lompoc. Um, California. Okay. Surveillance cameras at a car rental agency capture Ashley and Melodee. And this footage kind of just makes like the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Ashley is 40 years old, but she's wearing like this curly wig with bangs, and Melodee, poor Melodee, appears to be wearing a gray hoodie that's pulled really tight over her head. And then underneath the hood, she's also wearing a wig. It's dark, straight, and it completely hides her beautiful, naturally curly hair. And this just really caused me, at least, and maybe you as well, it caused me to ask myself, like, what are you telling your 9-year-old daughter in order to get her to go along with this, in order to get her to be agreeable to whatever is happening here, right? Like, we're playing a spy game, or the bad guys are coming, or like, I don't know. To me, it just kind of establishes this like us against the world dynamic right from the jump. And I find that really sad. Like, what does this girl think is going on? Like, mom, why am I wearing this ugly ass wig right now? What's happening? Anyway, they rent a white 2024 Chevy Malibu. The license plate is 9M, like Michael, N like Nancy, G101. Okay, remember that. So they leave California, apparently, and they start to head east. But Ashley's not just driving a car, right? She's operating here. Within 24 hours on October 8th, that car is spotted by license plate readers, but the California plates are gone, and the car is now sporting a New York license plate reading HCG 9677. The plate was stolen. It didn't belong to Ashley. It didn't belong to the rental car. I mean, like, just think about the planning that this is taking, right? She had to source a stolen plate, bring the tools to swap it, and do it on the side of the road or wherever she did this, just to make sure that that car remained invisible to anyone looking for Ashley Buzzard. Okay. So they drive practically nonstop to the Nebraska area. We still don't know why Nebraska. Was she meeting someone? Was it a trafficking handoff along the I-80 corridor? Or was she just driving to burn time and to create like some confusing digital trail? And honestly, I don't know what's going on up there with her. So it could be anything. We don't know yet. But this is the most critical part of the story. On October 9th, 2025 is when the return trip is made. They're heading back west. Surveillance catches the car near the Colorado-Utah border. And this is the last time that law enforcement says they have a sighting of Melodee. But if you look at the route that Ashley takes through Utah, she doesn't stay on the main highway, which is I-15, which would be the fastest way home for her. She detours. She goes through Green River and then down through Panguitch, Panguitch, Utah. I looked up Panguitch. I looked it up. It's remote. It's high altitude. It's right next to the Dixie National Forest, and it is miles and miles and miles and miles of dense trees and just emptiness. And the FBI was so focused on this specific town that on October 25th, 5th, agents went into the Bear Valley Country Store near Panguitch and interviewed the staff. And they traced Ashley's cell phone ping to a tower right there at the intersection of State Route 20 and US 89. If you are looking for a place to hide something that you never want found, that's where you go. That's where you go. So on October the 10th, Ashley rolls back into Lompoc. Before she returns the car, she puts the original California plates back on the rental vehicle. She cleans up her tracks, she thought. She returns her keys. But here's the thing, Melodee is not with her. No. Ashley goes back to her house on Mars Avenue alone. She's alone. And then she waits. She doesn't call the police. She doesn't call her mom. She just sits in her house for days until the school finally realizes that Melodee is missing and calls for a welfare check on October the 14th. So when the police arrive, Ashley gives them nothing. She gives them nothing. She is uncooperative. She provides, quote, no verifiable explanation, unquote, for where her daughter is. And you guys, they weren't just looking like for paperwork, right? Neighbors saw agents tearing up the carpet and, get this, even breaking the concrete foundation of that home. They were looking for this girl. Now, I'm no forensic scientist. I'm no nothing, but I have read about and covered enough cases to know this. You don't jackhammer concrete unless like something is alerting police, either like cadaver dogs or like ground penetrating radar. Something is going to show an anomaly there before they're just going to start tearing up the concrete foundation of someone's home. Like they don't just go in and do that on a whim. So I'll be interested to know what that was all about. But it does tell us that police were working two theories here. One, Melodee never even left the house alive, and the child in the wigs was like a decoy of some sort, or Ashley brought something back from that trip and buried it. But, and this is just as important, they haven't announced finding any remains or anything at the house. So fast forward now, not too much, but fast forward. Now we're in November, and here's the update, right? So while the search for Melodee is stalling out in the Utah wilderness, things do get a little bit weird in Lompoc. Enter a guy named Tyler Brewer. Tyler Brewer is a paralegal, right? He says that he knew Ashley from back in the day. He starts visiting her house in early November to help with the case. On November 6th, Brewer calls 911. He tells police that he went to Ashley's house. She told him some secrets, got visibly distressed, and then bam, she pulls a box cutter on Brewer. Yeah, he claims that she locked the doors, held him hostage, and refused to let him leave. Police swoop in. They arrest Ashley on November 7th for false imprisonment, felony false imprisonment, and the DA throws the book at her, alleging planning and sophistication. Okay. We all thought this is it. Like she's cracking. She's cracking. She's violent. She gets put on a GPS ankle monitor, but then came yesterday, November 20th, 2025. Ashley walks into her preliminary hearing. Her defense attorney stands up essentially and was like, not so fast. Okay, not so fast. It turns out Ashley Buzzard, the woman we think is maybe a little paranoid, you know, the woman who's wearing wigs, she was secretly recording audio of the entire meeting with Tyler Brewer. The judge, however, his name was Stephen Dunkel, he listened to that tape in the courtroom. And guess what? The tape actually showed none of what Tyler Brewer claimed. No threats, no change in demeanor, no hostage situation. In fact, the audio apparently captures Ashley opening the door for Tyler to leave. So, guess what happened? The judge dismissed the case immediately and entirely, and he ordered the GPS ankle monitor removed. So, you realize what this means? It sucks. It sucks because first, it completely destroys the credibility of a witness who claimed to have some inside info, right? He said that Ashley was spilling some tea, right? But more importantly, it also shows us a little bit about how Miss Ashley operates, as if we didn't gather enough context clues already. She is forensically aware, I think. She is assuming that she is being watched, listened to, followed, or even maybe set up, right? She's recording conversations to protect herself, and she's swapping license plates to avoid license plate readers. She's literally playing 4D chess while everyone else around her is playing checkers. She thinks that she is smarter than authorities and the people around her. I'm going to state my opinion. She's not, but she thinks she is. And people who think they are smarter than everyone else in the room, eventually they make mistakes. And I have faith that Ashley will make a mistake and we will find out what happened to Melodee, where she is, or what happened to her. So here's where we are. November 21st, right? Today, Friday. Happy Friday. Ashley Buzzard is back home today. She's free. She's got no GPS monitor on her. She's got no charges stuck to her right now. Meanwhile, okay, this doesn't mean nothing's being done. We know that because the FBI is right now scouring the woods in Panguitch, Utah. They're looking for that gray hoodie. They're looking for that dark wig. I mean, they're looking for Melodee. They're looking for Melodee. This case just really haunts me right now because of the silence surrounding it and because of the silence of this woman who returns from a road trip alone. There's the silence of this ghost enrollment at this school. And now there is the silence in that house on Mars Avenue where concrete has been patched up at this point, but there are still so many questions remaining. Now, if you are in Utah, specifically on US 89, or if you saw a white Chevy Malibu with New York plates HCG 9677 between October 7th and 10th, you need to call the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office immediately. Their number is 805-681-4150. I'm definitely going to keep watching this one, as I'm sure you guys are all doing the same thing. Yeah. Someone who plans this much, like I said, or thinks they're smarter than everybody else in the room eventually makes mistakes. And we have to wait for it. But in the meantime, we're going to keep searching for Melodee. So that's it for this one. That's all I have right now. I hope you guys have an amazing Friday night. I hope you have an amazing weekend. I have one more video that I am working on. It may be up this evening later, or it may be up tomorrow sometime. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me after work today or whatever you were doing before this. Thanks for being here now. I love you guys so much. Please stay safe. Keep asking questions and keep unraveling. Love you.